Hey, what's up, people? I'm Jason Derulo, and I'm great company.
Okay, guys, really exciting. Our guest today is an absolute legend. It's Jason Derulo. Now, Jason Derulo is, not only is he like one of the greatest entertainers in the world, he's had hit after hit after hit after hit. He has over 60 million followers on TikTok, Instagram, and other social media platforms so much. He is an entrepreneur in so many different places, and he's about to come into the Sweet Factory or about to record Great Company, which is going to be so amazing. I cannot wait. I'm a huge fan of this, which is really exciting. Hey, also, if you haven't already subscribed to our show, it'd be amazing if you can. If you just click that button there, it'd be the most amazing thing. It does wonders for our show, I cannot tell you. So I really hope you enjoy this episode of Great Company with Jason Derulo. Let's go.
People know you just for putting your name in the song.
Mm-hmm.
You like that, or are you? No,
Do I like it?
No.
I don't dislike it, but it's not like,
I get it.
you know,
I get it.
like it can be a little annoying sometimes.
I get it. I know what you're saying.
It's the worst shit in the world. Somebody's just like, Jason, I'm just like, shut
the fuck up. Jason, how's your energy? How's your jet lag? How's those kind of things?
I'm good, man. I'm actually I'm feeling good. I have had 2 hours of sleep.
Good. That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so I'm
good.
feeling very energized.
Do you survive? How many hours of sleep do you think you get a night?
Man, not enough. On average, I would say about 4, which I know is really terrible, and I'm actively working on trying to fix that.
Is that because your mind is always thinking, or is it because you just generally just don't, you're always...
It's just not enough time in the day, man. It really is just not enough time in the day. I'm trying to juggle businesses. I'm trying to juggle music, recording, shows, and being a dad, all at the same time. So it's just a lot. Also been building a house for the last 3 years. On top of all the other fuckery.
There's the guy who founded Levi's,
Mhm.
right? He always says, do one thing and do one thing well. I do a lot of things and do a lot of things badly as well. You do a lot of things really well,
Thank
right?
you, brother.
You really do, man. Like I said it to you before we sat down. Jemima, who's sitting over here, who's my producer, going through the shit that you've been, dude. It's correct me if I'm wrong. You've sold 250 million singles worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
That is a shitload.
That's a crazy amount.
Dude, it's a crazy amount.
Yeah.
And you were so young going in. You were writing songs at 8 years old.
Yeah.
And you had this obsession to do it, and you were just writing these songs and going for it. If you don't quite know yourself, because we don't as kids, right? We don't really know ourselves, and especially our teens, especially our 20s. We have no freaking clue. We're trying to be everyone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even write music or create when you don't even know who you are?
Well, my story was kind of interesting because I could never remember any fucking songs. So I love to sing, but like I couldn't remember songs. Like it was like very hard for me to remember lyrics and shit. So like I'd start singing a song and then forget the lyrics, and then I'll just start singing anything. So I'll just start freestyling, and then that became like a thing that I just did, just sing anything, because I just wanted to sing something, but I just couldn't remember the people's lyrics. So I think naturally I got a knack for creating melody and creating words because I couldn't remember anybody else's. And it wasn't until I decided to sit down one day and actually write a song that I knew how much fun it could be. But 8 years old was the first song that I made.
What was the song you wrote when you were 8?
It's called Crush on You.
Here we go.
Yeah, and it was for this girl in my class, Amy Hume, sat in front of me. She had curly blonde hair, and I was into it. And I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing to give to her, so I was like, I'm gonna write her a song. Yeah, that started the journey of songwriting.
Can you remember that song?
Of course.
Come on. Come on, a little bit.
24/7 days of the week, my mind is on you and it's getting to me. I got a crush on you. I got a crush on you. Thank y'all. Thank
You
y'all.
were 8?
I was 8.
That is wild.
Yeah, man. I remember my brother brought me to his high school, and he made me sing that song for every single girl he knew and every single teacher he had at this high school, Hollywood Hills High School. I'll never forget that day. But yeah, that started the journey of songwriting, man. And from there, when I was 16, I got my first writing placement.
Amazing.
And that just kind of kickstarted everything.
When you're writing songs and you're creating music, what does it do to your? But because I mean, your new single, "What Makes Me Happy," we were listening to upstairs, and everyone was vibing to it. And man, you seem to know what people want, and you can create a vibe in so many different ways. When you're creating a song, and you feel like the melody is good, and you can feel it within you, what does it make you feel?
I don't know what the fuck people want.
You get it right, but you
I
get it
definitely
right.
Don't. I really honestly I just try to make things that don't exist. I try to fill voids, and that really works for me. I think a lot of people chase sounds, they chase trending kind of vibe, and for me, I'm chasing what's not there, like something interesting, like what is needed, what is the void. And the new song with Make Me Happy, I really just wanted to create a tonic for the world that is like so much crazy shit going on, so I wanted to formulate some sort of tonic for people, and Make Me Happy is what came out, and I just felt like the song was such a feel good record. The vibe of the beat is just so feel good and feels really joyful. So I thought that would be the perfect kind of uh, uh, subject matter to go with that. So much so that I instantly called Make a Wish, and I was like, listen, I would love to like work with you guys uh and do something together with this song. I feel like, when I think of happiness, nobody in the world can make the most deserving kids happier than you guys make them. So like, let's do something together. So we're doing like, so many different activations together where we try to make as many wishes come true in the shortest amount of time. And that stemmed from making this song that I didn't even know that was inside of me. So it's all about me trying to fill some sort of void. Like when I made trumpets, right? Like, what the fuck sounded like trumpets? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's the
what?
tune.
Yeah, what the fuck sounded like Talk Dirty? You know what I'm saying? Like those songs are just like experimental and experiments that who the fuck knows if people are gonna like that shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? But like
But you're trusting your gut. That's the biggest thing.
yeah.
And I think the biggest problem, I see it, I have a Radio 1 show, right, that I do, and I see it with certain artists at the moment, especially, okay, country comes out, Beyonce does her country, and that feels like a vibe. So everyone,
Instantly,
man.
yeah. And that's the last thing that I want to do.
I thought you were going.
That's it's the last thing that I
can't do a
want to do.
country song.
That's the last thing that I want to do, and like so much so that actually when I created Make Me Happy, it had a country feel to it, and there was all sorts of country tidbits in the song that I ended up taking out because of the craze of country. So it actually started off as a country vibe, and then all of this country stuff came out, and then I pulled it all out.
Because you don't want to be like everyone
Yeah,
else.
so like now it like has more like an island feel, but it was actually if I play you the original, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But yeah, that's how badly I don't want to be a part of what's happening.
You're like anti-zeitgeist, like anti-trend. It's like you're the antidote to what like is going on in a way.
I think that's the only way to have an identity.
There's a great quote which I live by, which I say all the time, which is never follow logic, because logic gets you back in the same place as everybody else.
For sure.
And follow that to the end.
Man, that's a really good quote. What was it again?
Never follow logic because logic gets you back in the same place as everybody else.
That's fire. Y'all should write that down. I'm gonna write that shit down. That's fire.
But it's true, right? Everyone's trying to fit in. I give you, we know this one, but everyone tries to fit in when we're born to stand out. You want to follow your own thing, and that's,
Look at these quotes coming out. Sheesh.
Don't
Did you
worry.
write a book yet?
Yeah, I did at shit. But I think like it's true, right? Someone said to me once that creativity is the best place of creativity is when you don't know if something's good or not.
Yep.
Do you feel that?
I totally agree. I remember Mike Karen, who's one of the best A&Rs ever, and a dear friend of mine. He heard Talk Dirty for the first time, and he was like, either this is gonna be the biggest shit in the world, or it's gonna tank the hardest record that you've ever had. It's gonna be the biggest tank. And I was like, perfect. And my mom, let me get to my mom. My mom is like, this is not you. Don't put this out. This is gonna ruin your career.
Are you serious?
Swear to God. And then I called my album Talk Dirty. And she's just like, oh, we're finished.
You serious?
Yeah, crazy. Like it was like deep. Like my mom was like trying to have a heart to heart with me. Like this is going to ruin everything that you worked so hard for. Like this is not you. I'm like, but it is me.
This is me.
I literally wrote it.
Yeah, I like it. It's me.
Oh yeah.
What void do you think you're trying to fill?
In
Life.
in general.
Because there's a thing, right, which is where, listen, you could stop today and you could live in your mansion and you have your son and you have your businesses and you have your music and you could just go, do you know what? I'm okay. You're one of the most followed people on social media. You have songs that are hits over hits over hits. You're employing over 1,000 people with your business. You've made more money than most people are ever going to do in generations.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you going?
There was a point at the beginning of the pandemic, or like right before it, in that time period, where I was like, man, I've done well for myself. Cool. I did it. Like I think I'm good. And I remember that thought crossing my mind, for days, maybe even weeks. And then I started to challenge myself, like, what the fuck are you thinking? From where I started to where I am now, I'm way closer to being the greatest ever than I was to, like, when I began to where I am now. Like, that was impossible. But where I am now to how far I have to go to be one of the best ever, that's not that far. So why the fuck would I stop right at the edge of glory? Like, that makes no sense. Like, what are you doing? And that was what changed my mind. So now for me, it's the chase. The chase keeps you alive. I feel like I would have died, a million deaths if I stopped doing what I love doing most. It's my favorite thing in the world to go in the studio and make music. It's like there's nothing better than that. Will one day I stop releasing music? Yeah, maybe I'll stop releasing music, but making music, I don't think I'll ever stop making music.
Okay, bring that to like little Jason. I want to know this because I always describe myself as like you throw a bouncy ball into a room and blah, 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 and it just won't stop. I'm like this, and so that's why when I'm I had to write a speech for my wedding, right? And the only way I could write it was I had to go and sit in a busy place because I can keep getting distracted, but then I can keep going back to the same thing. Were you like that all the time, just fascinated by everything that was going on?
No, I wasn't like that at all.
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
fascinated by anything except music and science. For some reason, science like really. I love facts. I love like learning like interesting facts. I know like all sorts of useless facts that would never have use in my life, but I just like knowing things. I like learning.
I've got one for you.
Tell me.
I have so many, it's crazy. Like, I'll give you a great one.
Uh-huh.
The reason why James Bond has a martini shaken, not stirred. I can tell you.
Tell me. I was trying to think of it first, but no, I
Okay.
have no idea.
So Ian Fleming wrote it. Basically, when you have a martini shaken, right? When you have a martini,
Oh, I know it.
what?
You get the froth, the bubbles at the top.
A little bit like that. So yeah, when you stir a martini, the ice and the alcohol mix together. When you shake a martini, the water of the ice sits on top of the alcohol. So he's only sipping water, pretending to get drunk.
Get out of here.
There you go. Take that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not what I said at all.
No, it's not. I don't know why I agreed with you.
But thank you for that. You're a good guy. I would have been like, yeah, no, that's not it at all.
But I'm the same with these like I got so many of them.
I love that.
But so you were focused on music and science and you like facts, but you were quite like driven from a young age.
Yeah, I was driven. I mean, driven is like an understatement. I was obsessed. I am obsessed. And I found that the obsession isn't just with music. It's just the obsession of creating, because I have the same sort of obsession with everything. When I didn't make my freshman basketball team, I literally walked around with a basketball everywhere that I went. Like, it didn't matter where I was. It didn't matter like who I was with. I always had a basketball, whether it was inside, outside, it didn't matter. And I was going to be sure that I made the team the next year. And I would spend hours upon hours upon hours. That one year, I think I totally transformed into an entirely different player and a different person. I made the team the next year, and then the next year, the first year, my 10th grade year, we won the state championship. And then the next year, we were on the verge of winning another state championship, and then that's when I decided to quit basketball, and I was gonna focus on just music. But it's that sort of obsession that that makes anybody great at anything. It's just the hours that you put in. It's like how many hours are you actually putting in to what you want to do, right? And I think that I would have been successful at anything that I decided because of that obsessive kind of behavior.
But that's interesting. I so agree with you. But that's like a learned thing, which is so interesting, right? Which is where people don't achieve what they want to achieve because they give up too early, I think.
Agreed.
But you didn't. You knew that if you kept picking up that basketball and kept bouncing and then kept shooting hoops and going for it, you would make the team. Most kids don't think that way.
Yeah, truth. It's not like I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the highest jumping. I was just the hardest working. So if there was something that only took tenacity, I was gonna win every time. For instance, if we were gonna run 4 miles that day, I was always gonna be first. If we're doing sprints, probably wasn't gonna be first. if it was who's gonna jump the highest, I wasn't gonna be first, because that took like some athletic ability. I didn't have that, but what I had was the hard work ethic. So since I didn't have a lot of those other things, I built a crazy shot. So I had like an amazing just jumper. My jumper was just crazy because that's something that I could work on, right? And like so that just got really, really crazy. And then and then I gave it all away for music.
There's so many things I want to unpack here. Firstly, do you have a moment when you were younger that like almost beats any achievement that you've done in your life?
I have one. It's not, I don't think it's what you're looking for, but I was on this team called the 49ers. And so I caught this beautiful, beautiful catch. And I'm running down to the end zone. And all of a sudden I have an asthma attack. And I have to stop running. So they tackle the shit out of me. But like that was a crazy turn of events for me. It was just like on top of everything else. I was like, I got acne.
I'm fat. I got asthma. It's just too much. It's too much. I'm only 8 years old.
Just because I wanted to mention that we all have these insecurities as kids, and you've spoken about in the past that you said you were overweight, you had acne, you had asthma. How, did you feel insecure as a kid?
Yes, for quite some time as a child, there was a lot of insecurities. I would say mainly like 3 years of major kind of insecure thoughts. Um,
What
and
age are you at that point?
I had to be between like 8 and 12. Because when I got to high school, things right before I got to high school, things changed. Because when I joined the track team, that's when things started to change for me because I saw these girls on the track team and I was like, they run track? I need to run track. So I started. I went for the tryouts for track, which is not really a tryout, right? Because there's everybody's not running to go, join the track team. Again, I wasn't fast, didn't jump high, I wasn't strong enough for the shot put. So the only thing that I could do was something that was for the mind. They put me in the long distance. So in the long distance, I didn't start off amazing, but every day running, I was overweight and those pounds started to shed off. And I was looking at all of these fit kids every single day, and I was just like, man, I need to fit in. So I started to eat salads every day for lunch.
Wow.
And I realized that I loved the salad bar because you could pack as much salad on your plate as you possibly could. And, we didn't have very much money. So I could have all of this food, even though it was salad, I could fill myself up. And then the pounds just started to shed off. And then I just started to be slim. And then people started to look at me different. And my whole vibe changed.
I remember when I was maybe around 17, I played a sport in the UK called rugby, and I was a big rugby player. And I injured my knee, did my ACL ligament. So it was actually a desire. My blueprint was to play rugby. That's why when it got taken away from me. And my mum said to me, and I used to eat a lot to like keep on the weight because I wanted to keep on the weight.
Yeah.
And my mum, I came home once and she said, "You look a bit stocky." Like stocky. She said, yeah, my mum's saying this. She said, "You look stocky," and I was like, "What do you mean I don't look stocky? I don't look stocky." She says, "You do. You're not training like you were, and you're eating the same amount. You look a little bit stocky. I'm just your mum. I'm being honest." And I went, whatever. I went on holiday, and there's those cameras that used to have to go and get the film developed. Went and got the film developed, and it came back, and I was looking through the photos, and I came across a photo of me topless on the beach, and I saw my body suddenly and realized that I had become a bit stocky. And the only way I can describe it, it was like immediate shame. And it was the first time in my life that I had suddenly gone, what? And I became deeply insecure about my body, my image, and I couldn't get out of my mind.
And then so how did you deal with that? Like what was the next step for you? Did you feel like you had to make a change? Like what was the
Yeah, I had to I from everything. Like if I was going to get, like, I'd get everything reduced fat. I would be so conscious of everything that I ate, but it was so secret to me. I didn't tell anyone. It was like, and it's so funny that as guys, I don't think we open up that much about like weight issues and image issues.
Yeah, because you have to try to wear it as if you like it. Like
Yeah.
like when people would talk about my weight, I'd be like, oh yeah, but I look good. You see me. And when you have insecurities, you tend to try to wear it with a smile so that people don't know that you're insecure about it. And sometimes that's the toughest part.
And it's hard. And then also, and when it's secret, it's in your mind a lot. It's tough, right? Because you just don't want to talk about it. And mine kind of led to, I suppose, anxiety and just like self-critical of myself. That
Mhm.
negative thing in my mind started to creep in a little bit at that age. But you were younger, which would have been hard. And then also, as you said, how you used to counter it is that you used to eat salads and used to sort of monitor yourself. But
Mhm.
that's, from 12 years old or whatever, that's a young age to start doing it from.
Super young age, and my issue, my biggest issue is I come from a Haitian family, so it was not like my mom was making salads. You know what I'm saying? It was not like that was like an option. It was like rice and chicken and fried pork and like fried plantains, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what we were raised on. And I got a lot of big boned people in my family, you know what I'm saying? So like when I'm trying to make a change and I'm like dieting or like trying to make healthier options, people are like, what the hell you doing? Like that's what, like you gotta eat. You gotta eat. Like if you want to be healthy, you have to eat. You know, so it's like almost encouraging encouraging the bad choices. So it can be a little tough, you know, depending on which household you're in, because you know you kind of need the proper information.
Yeah.
You know, you need the proper support. A lot of times. But yeah, thankfully I chose my own path.
Because I was just thinking, because your obsession with stuff,
Mhm.
like I can see it in your work, the way that you are. You're talking about running track and just
Mhm.
shooting the hoops. That would become an obsession.
Yeah, because I remember seeing B2K on TV. Them boys had abs. Y'all remember B2K? Yeah, them boys had abs. I was
I don't
like,
even know
"Damn,
what B2K is. What is that?
you don't know what B2K is?
Looking around at the team,
Wow. Do you know who Omarion is?
I know who the Backstreet Boys are.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Well, can you sing a little song? What is like a
Dun 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 bum bum bum.
bomb, bomb, bomb?
Yeah, you know that song?
No.
Yo, I need that clip right there for sure. I'm posting that. That's the greatest shit I've ever seen. Man.
But so you were seeing these people.
I'm so sorry though, Marion, but I have to post that. That is actually hilarious.
You have this obsession, as we said before, where it's music or whatever it is. You keep going, you going, and that kind of nearly did stop because you broke your spine.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk me through what happened?
Yeah, I was preparing for my tour. And 2013. Fuck is it? I can't believe this. There's so many years that have passed that like I'm trying to figure out like
I know.
you 10 scores years ago. It's crazy. Time flies, man. It's
Yeah.
been 15 years since I released my first song.
Crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's not even that. 15 years, not that long. It's long, but
What?
yeah.
If you're like, I've been knowing this guy for 15 years, you sound like an old motherfucker. You ain't known nobody for 15 years and you're not old. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's actually true. It's actually true.
So I was preparing for my tour, man, and I was working on these back tucks for stamina, or as you know, that's what this trainer was telling me. So we're doing back to backs. We would stop for a while, take a break, and we'd do back like 20 back to back.
Like a backflip, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I slipped on one, and I bailed. And you're never supposed to bail, even if you slip. You're just supposed to just keep going. I bailed, fell on my head, and I heard a crack, and I was just like, "Oh shit! Like, is this it? Like, fuck! Like I felt like a heat, like a huge like heat in my neck, and I was just thinking in my head like, damn, like what just happened? Did my life just end? Like what? Like where am I? Um, then all the people just come rushing to me, and They're like, don't move, don't move. 5 minutes pass, and I'm kind of like, I wanna stand up. I want to get up. And you're never supposed to get up after neck injury. You're supposed to like allow an ambulance to come pick you up. But I wanted to stand up. I mean, I didn't know those facts. My mom was in the car. That's how long ago it was. My mom was dropping me to rehearsals. And I'm holding my neck like this, just innately, like like just feels this feels like more secure, safe. And I'm like, just like, Ma, I hurt myself a little bit inside. Let's just go to the hospital just to double check. And I'm in excruciating pain, but I don't want to let her know, how bad my pain is. Um, so I'm sitting in the passenger side, and every single bump that she's going on is like hell on earth. Like I've never felt so many bumps in my life. It's just like, when was this road made? It's like, so it get to the hospital, man, and we have X-rays or whatnot, and the doctor comes and says you have a hangman's break, which is the same break that happens when you get hung, and this could have been way worse. And you're gonna be down for 7 months and kiss your tour goodbye. So had to cancel the entire tour, and then I didn't know what to make of the rest of my time. That 7 months, I didn't know what the rest of my life was gonna look like. I didn't know whether I could take that kind of time off. This was pretty early in my career, right? This was after my second album. So my second album had two singles on there, "Don't Want to Go Home" and "It Girl," which were nice hits, but they weren't like the biggest songs in the world. Um, so like I didn't know what the next vibe was gonna be like for me. And I was like, was this it? Like, did I max out? And during that time, the 7 months that I had, I created a routine for myself. And for me not to get down on myself, I felt like the routine would be what I focused my time on and my energy on, as opposed to being down on myself, like, like fuck, like life is over. So would wake up in the morning. I would go and walk on the treadmill for 40 minutes. And then I would get home. And then when I got home, I would literally spend at least 9 to 12 hours in the studio. And after the 9 to 12 hours in the studio, I would have my meal, and then I would go to bed, and then I would start all over again every single day, the same routine every single day. And that's when I made my most successful album, which had 6 platinum songs on it.
They always say that when a door shuts, there's always a window. You just got to find it.
100%. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Because every time when I'm on my worst downturn is when the biggest catalyst happens. But you have to be willing to rely on the plan. If you can create a plan and a routine for yourself and you rely just on that, that's enough. If you set a blueprint for yourself and you're like, this is what's gonna get me there, and then just stick to it, it works every fucking time.
It's so important for people to hear that. You know that I suppose, like, even coming from someone like you that people look up to and see so much success with, that you've had those moments of, moments of like, is this it? Is this going to end?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you just got to mentally put you into a place where you just go, I've just got to do this. That resilience that you've had since a kid, that got you through it for sure.
Definitely. And when I wrote my book is when I realized all of these things, right? Because sometimes people do things by mistake and it just kind of happens, right? And you get lucky. And I believe that a lot of things in my life happened out of luck, and I became I did all these things. I don't know why I did them. It's not like I had like a handbook to tell me to do these things. I just happened to do it, and I got lucky that I did it the way that I did. So in writing that book, I had to figure out what the fuck that I did to become successful, not only at my my music business, but also in my actual business, and also in social media. It's like what are all of the commonalities in the successes of my life, and I had to find those things. So I really like,
And it was
you know,
15 principles, right?
yeah. So I had to like really dive in deep and figure out what those things were.
What do you think it is? What do you think the main thing is to success?
Um, I mean, there's not one thing.
Sure, I get that.
But
If someone's listening now and they're going, right, I wanna make my life different. I want to make my life a success, and they're listening to you right now, and maybe they're down and out or whatever, and they're going, okay, I need something. What are one of those principles? One of those things you say, this is what you should do right now.
well, one of them is definitely about change, right? If you're not making the changes in your life, you're not going to see any changes happen, right? Like, it's it really comes down to what you put in. So, for instance, I I own this company called Rumble Boxing, right? And I think it's the most incredible workout that I could possibly get, like top notch. Like I'll walk out and I feel like I look different when I walk out. Like it's like that deep. And I brought people there before, and it was like, oh, well, it wasn't that hard. It's all in what you put into it. So if I'm punching the bag with everything that I have, and you're kind of punching the bag, and you're kind of like walking through it, you're not going to get the same amount of workout that I'm getting, you know? So it's all in what you put into it. It all comes down to the hours and then the intensity of those hours. And every single time that I have gone dark, so to speak, and worked on whatever that specific goal was, I've been able to achieve that goal because I was literally spending all of my time and all of my energy doing it, you know? And still to this day, when I'm making music, when I'm doing these things, I feel like I have to compete against the young me. Who's that new person that's coming out that's hungry, that doesn't have much, that's trying to make it out of something. Um, that's who you have to think about. Like who's the next best thing, and that's who you always have to compete against. Because once you make it, it's not like you stay there. Success is rented. You can never own it. So as soon as that rent is due, you got to make sure you pay up.
That's great advice. When you do go to those dark times, how dark has it got for you?
I mean, it hasn't gotten like,
Mm-hmm.
like my darkest time was definitely when I broke my neck. That was for sure the darkest. But I've had other dark times where, um, I was trying to get off this record label for a very long time, and they just wouldn't let me go. And finally, I was just like, either you let me go, or I'm gonna tell the entire world that you guys are keeping me against my will. And we came to some sort of deal, and I paid paid some money to get out of the deal or whatever. Um, After that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out here, and the world's gonna be my oyster. I'm gonna be able to sign with any label. Everybody's gonna be begging for me. This is gonna be incredible. Soon as I get released, it's crickets. It's like, oh no, this is too expensive for us. Oh, this is not really for us right now. I was just like, wait, what? What do you mean? I'm Jason Derulo. I sold 250 million. But what you talking about? The most humbling experience, right? But then I go into that mode again. It's just like, holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna lock in on a plan and a routine. So I got lost in a routine again. So that's when the pandemic hit. So it was film 6 TikToks a day
Wow.
and make at least 3 songs a day.
Get out of here.
And one of those songs was Take You Dancing. Another song was Savage Love. Another song was Conyo. And in that time period, I became one of the most streamed artists again as an independent artist. And
That made you feel good.
yeah, it made me feel great, but
yeah.
like sometimes it just takes being knocked down and kicked in the ass to be like, you can actually do this. You can do it yourself, you know?
And having those humbling moments
Yeah,
is important, right?
I think so. I really do.
Savage Love was amazing.
Thank you, brother.
Oh man, that I think that made everyone smile throughout the pandemic.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, I built that whole new business. It's like the social media business became like a whole business, man. And it's one of the most lucrative things that I've ever done in my life, still to this day.
Really,
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm in that process at the moment of thinking about having kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, man.
But I'm scared about it.
How old are you?
22. Do you want my stage age or my
Both.
Okay. Stage age 22. Real age 36.
Mm.
So I'm 36.
Yep. You gotta choose.
I know, right?
Choose one.
It's scary though. I think I don't know if you've had this, but I'm a bit of a control freak. Like you spoke about being a Virgo. You like to control everything, and having a kid feels like the one thing in life that I just can't control. I can't control their health always. I can't control, the birth. I can't control so many things, and for me, that is so scary. Did you have that?
Don't you think the most beautiful part of life is not being able to control everything? You know, like no matter what we do, like we're going to eventually pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes everything so much more beautiful. And I think in having children, right? I mean, there's no certainties, and the only certainty that there is that you'll never love anything else more than your seeds. And you think that you understand love now. You think that you understand affection. You think that you understand appreciating things. But when you have kids, you truly understand. It's like a total flip that happens. You know what I'm saying? And you hear these kinds of things, right? And like you're like, yeah, you're supposed to say that, it's cliche, but no, it's the truth. And I feel like I've been able to relive my childhood in a way that I didn't know was possible. You know, all those things that you used to love and that you used to appreciate as a kid and that you kind of lost as an adult, all of that shit comes back again. And it's even better the second time because it's like, oh shit, I remember when da-da-da-da. You know? So like reliving your childhood. Also, my relationship with my parents is even better.
Really?
You know, because the love that I have for my son, I'm like, oh shit, now I understand. Mom, I'm so sorry I ain't call you. Because I couldn't imagine that same thing happening to me with my son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like it's brought me closer to my parents, and it's completely rocked my world, man. I get chills even talking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
For anyone who's not,
So what the fuck are you doing?
I know. For anyone who can't see, dude, when I mentioned your eyes lit up.
Ah, thanks, man. Yeah, yes, it's a real thing.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
That I think what happens in, I don't know, you've experienced like crazy fame and success, like to the max,
Mm-hmm.
and worldwide. And that has to, without a doubt, I think, when you're that driven and those kind of things, it has to come from an element of like selfishness, right? You have to focus on what you want to do and you have to drive and you have to go for it, right? And sometimes I've sort of experienced in my own life is that you forget about things along the way and you just focus on your end goal, your North Star, whatever that is. When you have a kid, does that all change?
It all changes because they don't understand everything. Um, I feel like my family gives me a pass. It's like, oh, it's Jason being Jason. Like, I'll forget birthdays and shit like that, which is horrible. But like they understand that it just slips my mind. And I don't think I have the average mind because
What do you mean? Give me an
I'm
example.
I'm just so asphyxiated with my craft, my work, that everything else just kind of falls at the wayside. And to a fault, I think, um, relationships suffer, uh, other things in my life suffer, like not being able to fix a car. You know what I'm saying? So if me and you, we get stuck, you better know how to fix the car because
I don't
the
know how to
shit that
fix
I
it.
didn't learn growing up. And I don't know, like when you have a kid, like you don't get those kinds of passes. Like the worst thing in the world would be m- my son saying, "Oh, you forgot this," you know?
Mm.
Like I try my best, my damnedest to try to be there as much as possible so that he never has that void.
What were your parents like? What were you like as a kid when you were growing up?
My parents, well, my mom, she worked really really hard. So I learned hard work from my mom.
Mm.
So she went to law school and had a job at the same time, and at the same time trying to come home and cook dinner for us. Um, and in watching my mom do what she did, I just learned the meaning of hard work and what it took. My dad was an entrepreneur, had a business that he put everything into, you
Mm.
know, and I think that also took a toll on us, as a family because he wasn't around all the time. So I'm constantly like remembering those times as well,
Mm.
as an adult who kind of is in the same kind of situation where like I have all of these aspirations and all of these goals, and I want to do right for my family, right? Uh, I support a lot of people, a lot of my family, but also, a lot of families that work with me, right? So I support like hundreds of people,
Wow.
thousands actually,
Are you serious?
thousands of people. Yeah, for sure, with all the businesses and all everything that I have, for sure, thousands. But so there's a lot of people counting on me, right? But the one person that matters the most is my son. So I'm constantly thinking about those things, and reminding my childhood.
What happened? Because again, I said to you before we started, I always say this, but I went to boarding school at 8, and that definitely gave me like this fear of abandonment, right? And so
Mm,
this like insecurity within me that people are going to leave. And so when I went into relationships, you're going to leave. Like, so I became a little
mm.
bit like scared of those things. When your parents show you hard work and they're working hard, but maybe not around as much, what do you think that did to you as an individual?
Um, I mean, I just felt like there was a little something missing. My mom was there though. She was as there as one could be. Um, but I understand my dad. It's not like I don't understand because I live a very similar kind of I have very similar aspirations as he did. Um my situation happened a little different, because I was able to make things like really really explode in a different kind of way. But in looking at the ideals, I mean, it's the same exact thing. When you're chasing something, sometimes you can be so lost that you don't even notice the time.
Mm.
Like I'll be in the studio, bro, and like I don't notice that 18 hours has passed.
Get out of here.
Like I just wouldn't know. And the only way that I know is like when I look at everybody else and then they're just like my engineer like literally can't keep his eyes open and I'm like, yo, and he's like So that's when I'm like, damn, okay, I can only go 2 more hours.
The work ethic you have is crazy.
People literally have to take turns. So like if I have like some management with me or something like that, like people have to like switch off because I'm like always on, you know? Like
Have you always been like that?
yeah. I've always been like that since I was a kid.
Seriously, from an entrepreneur and just from someone who understands how tough business is, doesn't matter what position you're in,
Mhm.
it's insanely impressive what you've built, what you're doing,
Thank you, brother.
where you're going. And I think a lot of people can learn a huge amount from you.
Thank you.
Seriously, man. I really appreciate. I know how busy your time is, and I know how many directions you're pulled in. So I appreciate you doing this. We like to end our conversation with 8 questions very
Okay.
quickly. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, for sure.
If you could collaborate with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Well, definitely Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But alive, I've really always really wanted to work with Sia. I
Which
think
you're about to.
yeah, so she was just like somebody that is timeless and has created a sound like nobody else, you
Yeah.
know, and she's always been somebody that, you know, I've wanted to work with. And yes, thankfully I have a song with her now that's coming out in January.
Are you excited about it? Is it?
Super excited. I mean, it's the snippet is out on social media now, but so excited for it to finally actually come out in January, man.
Is it gonna be huge?
I mean, I like it. I don't like to say things are gonna be because I don't have a crystal ball, but because the people have been wrong before.
Okay, here we go. What's the saying or phrase that always makes you smile or cheers you up?
A phrase that makes me smile that cheers me up. Me and my son, we have a little something, and whenever something great happens, or he does something great, or I do something great, I'll say to him, "That's my dog," and then he's like, "That's my dog." And vice versa. Like if like when I'm coming off stage, like he'll be like, "That's my dog," and I'll be like, "That's my dog." So that's like probably the best phrase, like for sure.
Best compliment anyone's ever given you?
Damn.
This is because you're too hard on yourself, I think.
Yeah, I don't know the best compliment.
When someone says a compliment to you, what hits the heart?
It really hits home when somebody tells me that they have been affected to my music in one way or another, like within their lives. So people will say like riding solo like helped me through my breakup, or I got engaged to marry me, or I asked my girlfriend to be mine using It Girl, you know, or I used to get dressed to talk dirty every single day. When people input my songs into their lives and into a time period, I think that's the greatest compliment, because it makes me a small part of people's lives, and I think there's no greater feeling than that.
What scares you most about yourself?
That I don't have an off button. It really scares me because I watch people around me that I think are very hardworking, and I think that they're lazy, and that fucking scares me, because it's so hard for me to like understand why why they won't work more. I'm talking about everybody, you included. But yeah, I don't have an off button. So yeah, that it scares me, and I only know that because I watch other people.
I know what you mean. When was the last time you cried?
The last time I cried was 2 trips ago. Leaving my son. Uh, I knew I was gonna be leaving for a couple of weeks, and I wasn't gonna see him for a while. And that hit me pretty hard.
What's something you can't let go of?
Something that I can't let go of. I can't let go of I actually really like having a cocktail. So like even when I'm on a diet and shit, I have to like input the macros of the alcohol that I'm gonna drink because I'm not gonna like not have a drink. I feel like I'm an adult man and I have to have something in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just
know.
going to not eat good food and not drink. That's crazy. So what are we here for? It's just like to be miserable, look good and be miserable. That's a great idea.
What's your cocktail?
Uh, my one of the moment. So I'll tell you one that I actually like and the one that I actually drink.
Okay.
So the one that I actually like is muddled orange, where you beat the orange's ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta like, and then you put tequila in it. So it's like ice, muddled orange, and tequila.
Mm.
And
Okay.
then that's the one I really like.
Yeah.
And then the one that I like but don't love is the Diet Coke tequila.
What is that?
Diet Coke and tequila.
It's just straight up Diet Coke and tequila.
Yeah. People
Okay.
always like, what is that? It's like it's no sugar. It's,
It's
like,
just Diet Coke and tequila.
yeah.
I like it.
You never tried it?
No, I'm going to though.
Yes, it's not bad.
What turns you off?
A liar. I can't stand a liar, especially if the person is close to me. I give all the opportunities in the world, and if someone either lies or steals from me, there's no turning back.
What turns you on?
Turns me on is a woman that can cook or is even willing to cook.
Mm.
They don't even necessarily have to be talented at it. I'm just like, for some reason, I'm just like really attracted to that.
It's your love language.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
A lot of people think that's weird.
No, I think there's weirdly enough, with my wife Sophie. If I come back, this is what I'm not trying to go with. Like, I swear to God, if I come back and she's cooked me something which she did the other day, which it's called a shepherd's pie. It's like a UK dish.
I know shepherd's pie.
You've had it?
Yeah.
Well, she did that for me the other day, and I was like, I love you.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, I don't know why. Something about it. It's the act of service of doing something that like you weren't expected. It's just amazing.
For sure.
What do you like most about yourself?
The thing that I like the most about myself is that I am a really positive person. So I'm always a glass full kind of guy. So in every situation, I'm trying to figure out what the good is in it. You know, even if it looks bleak, I'm just like, oh, okay, but at least da 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 da. And I think that's a great personality trait.
Okay, last one. The favorite lyric you've ever written?
But your booty don't need explaining.
Jason, thank you so much for coming. Great company.